Hey y'all, it's Irene here, the Black Hiking Queen, and I am on a exciting trip to one of my favorite states here in the US. I am going to be exploring in New Mexico. This is actually a branch trip, and I'm going to be exploring with some other creators in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and I'm excited to take y'all along this weekend. So I just landed in El Paso, y'all. I'm sitting outside the airport waiting for the other creators to land. They should be landing in a few minutes, and then we're all gonna ride together to Las Cruces. It's about a 50-minute ride. Just waiting here for them to get here, but super excited. I have been to Las Cruces before, but not really to explore. It was when I went to White Sands a while ago, and I think I went to just have like lunch or something like that. But this weekend I'm really gonna get into the city, and I'm excited to take y'all along this adventure. If this is your first time here, subscribe to my YouTube channel to keep up with all my adventures, and let's get this trip started. So we are about to have lunch, and this is La Posta de la Mesilla. Sorry, I had to make sure I pronounce it correctly, but it's this cute little restaurant here in Las Cruces. And yeah, we're about to eat lunch. I'm super hungry, so ready to eat.
In the 1850s, this was the Butterfield stagecoach stop. So the painting here, the corner of the building here, is the corner of this building right here. Billy the Kid, Pancho Villa, Kid Carson were all around and probably in this room back then. Right across the street is the Billy the Kid store. That building used to be the courthouse where Billy the Kid was tried and convicted and sentenced to hang. It also at one point was the capital of Arizona, and it was the capital of New Mexico.
Right now we're checking into our hotel where we're staying, and then we're gonna go to White Sands, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's super hot outside. It feels like it's already summer right now. I'm gonna go check into my room and then go to White Sands. Hey y'all, so I made it to the hotel. So let me give y'all a room tour. I had to back up. Let me show y'all. So here's the bathroom. And then this is the room. Let's see if we have a view. I mean, oh, that's pretty nice. So we got a view of the pool. And this is super cute. They got us a welcome package. Super cute. Visit Las Cruces. we're seeing the sunset back there, and it's absolutely beautiful. Let me show y'all. So we got the mountains back there, and the sun is setting, and look at all of this white sand. Wow. It's absolutely beautiful. So this is my third time at White Sands National Park, but my first time seeing the sunset here, and y'all, it is so beautiful. You definitely have to do this. It's absolutely stunning. Wow, just a great reminder of God's beauty. Like, God really created this earth, and places like this just remind me to be thankful of this beautiful world that we live in. So beautiful. We are about to go on a hike. I downloaded the trail in case we get lost, but we have our guide.
So everybody make sure you do have water. I have a bunch of extra water bottles in my backpack, so please, I'd rather you ask for water than dehydrate to death. I will be your hydro homie, and so I will be reminding you to drink water.
Hello everybody, I'm Chris. I'm from the area and I have hiked the Slot Canyon multiple times. It's a really easy hike, really short, it's pretty flat. The only part that might get a little difficult, and I'll explain that to you at the end of the Slot Canyon, there is a part where we can go up to this really cool cliff where you can see more of the mountain ranges around you, and then you can also see down a little bit down into the Slot Canyon. So it's just another perspective of the beauty out here. There might be some rattlesnakes, but I'll be in front, so maybe I'll scare them away. Since we're going to be a large group of us, also it helps out because they tend to hear our vibration, and so they're usually going to move away. Rattlesnakes are not wanting to come harm you. They really don't want to be around us, so if they do feel us, they're going to probably move away, or they'll warn us, so we'll hear it rattle. It's rare when I've come across a rattlesnake out here, and I've come out at all times of the day, so I don't think that should be a problem. But if we do, it doesn't hurt to see a rattlesnake from a safe distance. This is a prickly pear cactus. It gives some very beautiful pastel color blooms, and the flowers are just gorgeous. And then once there's a little, I don't see it here, but it ends up giving off a fruit, and people make jams out of it.
is the entrance. And once you get outside, y'all, it is so hot. But it's really beautiful, and I highly recommend that you check this out if you're ever in the Las Cruces, Oregon Mountains area. Definitely come check it out.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're heading back to the trailhead, back to the car to go get lunch. Hey y'all, it is another beautiful morning here in New Mexico, and right now we are in the town of Mesilla. We're about to do a quick historical tour, and then we're gonna have lunch here. So yeah, it's very beautiful, and I love New Mexico. I feel like it's such a underrated state. So you definitely have to come here. But yeah, we're about to do this tour, and I'm gonna take y'all with me.
Ceded a massive swath of its northern frontier, what is today the southwestern United States, to the United States. It was signed with the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. At the time of that treaty signing, the international boundary, the new international boundary between Mexico and the United States was actually the Rio Grande River. Now today, the Rio Grande River is about a mile or so that direction. When the treaty was signed, the river was located about a half a mile this direction. The river has moved in its course, placing now Mesilla on the east side of the river. The mountains are facing the east. It's really easy to remember if you're from Albuquerque. Same story, mountains on the east side. But that's the reason why Mesilla was founded, because when the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed, there was a number of people, Mexican citizens in communities like Doña Ana and Las Cruces and all the way down in the El Paso and its lower valley who were like, nope, we're not doing this. We do not want to be a part of this new American territory. So all they had to do was just come across the river, and they settled right here. This was not a new location for them to settle. They had been, people had been settling here in Mesilla for decades prior to that, thanks to in this section, because I don't want to have to yell over the mass, because I'm pretty sure they're actually listening to mass. But what we'll do is we'll talk a little about the church, and if you guys then want to get closer to the church, you can do that momentarily. This is the Basilica of San Albino. It's actually one of only 2 basilicas in the state of New Mexico. The other is St. Francis of Assisi in Santa Fe. What you'll notice is that this is a French Gothic architectural style of cathedral. Excuse me, it's not a cathedral, it is a basilica of church. This was originally an adobe building. This church was built in 1851 by the Gamboa brothers, as a matter of fact. And it has 2 bell towers in it. It originally had just the 1 bell tower. The bells that are in this church To room after room after room, because essentially what you're doing is you're interacting with what was originally a commercial space and then going back into those original residences. This storefront right here, Galleria Azul, is a wonderful store. I highly recommend going in there while you are here later today. You're walking into a home, as a matter of fact. So when you walk in there, you're walking into a hallway with rooms on either side. It was originally a private residence. The reason I come into this parking lot to show that is because the building that's right behind me, though it is more of an Americanized style with a tin pitched roof, you can actually visually see storefront, home merging directly behind. That is now a storefront. It's no longer a private residence, but it visually makes it clear how that kind of merging of residential and commercial properties would have operated. This is a very interesting style of irrigating, actually. It's pretty common here in New Mexico. This is a canal which comes off the Rio Grande and goes into the various communities. This is actually how we farm our fields. Right behind me here, we see a pecan field. Pecans are one of the leading crops in southern New Mexico. Doña Ana County is one of the world's leading producers of pecans, as a matter of fact. And we have a huge agricultural industry in the area. Hello! Hi.
Good morning.
And this is how this happens. Again, I said at the very beginning, one of the first things we need is we need our acequia, which means that we need our water. And so this actually was dug in 1851. March 1st of 1851 is the date they began digging this acequia. So this has been around for 150 years, this acequia here. And actually, as you look around, we're seeing all the historic glass, but what we are also seeing is shells, which does show you that this is dug directly off the river. And so as we're walking back this way, you're probably going to see shell after shell after shell. If the children I was on the tours with last week didn't steal them all, even though I told them not to. It is really cool when you look into the ground and you can sort of see this evidence of kind of hundreds of years of people living, which is, you know, part of what makes our jobs so great. And so before 1902, the community had access to the water whenever they wanted. And after that, they had to, again, have paperwork and get regulations done. And so that is what things like this, these gates, help to do. So these gates actually are how the water comes from the acequia into the river, or into the fields. And people who work with the Elephant Butte Irrigation District have very regulated times with which they can open and flood their fields. Now, as you can tell, this is an empty acequia right now, and that's because we are in a drought season. And so what happens in southern New Mexico is that all of the water, all of the runoff from northern New Mexico gets stopped at the Elephant Butte Dam, and then usually come June, they begin to release the water into the river. If you were actually to go to the Rio Grande right now, you would notice that the river is completely dry. If you were to drive over to the Rio Grande, you could actually walk to the middle of the Rio Grande River and stand in it. It is a totally dead dry bed right now. And so they will begin to release that water in the coming weeks. But here's the thing, the Rio Grande doesn't just go through New Mexico, it also goes through Texas and it goes through Mexico. This makes it an international river and an international political issue. And so what happens first is they release the water, let the water go down to Texas and Mexico. We do not have access to that water for a while. So the river will fill, it will continue to go down, but it will not be for a while until then the acequias begin to fill up and people can have access to that water, because we have to be able to share that water. It's an incredibly complex situation.
has been a wonderful, wonderful weekend here in Las Cruces, New Mexico. So right now we are about to head back to where we came from. I'm about to head back to Texas. And I'm about to head to the airport and head back home, but thank you so much for coming along the adventure. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Oh.